Hey, oh, hey. Hi guys, I gotta be playing music in my head because this copyright shit is a trip. So, as you can tell by the title, this is going to be my top 10 best movies of all time. So, I haven't watched every movie obviously, so I'm not gonna know what's the top 10, but out of everything that I've seen in my life, these definitely take the cake. There are probably a few that I've seen that I just don't remember, but if it was memorable, then trust me, it would have been on the list. And there's some stuff like I've watched other YouTubers top 20 list or whatever, and they put like stuff like The Godfather. In every list there's The Godfather. I've never seen it. I don't think I have any intention of seeing it. But you know, if it's good, it's good, but it's not on my list. And there is also one called The Dark Knight. Everyone talks about that, says it's the best in its genre, and I've never seen it. I tried though because it seemed interesting, and it was $4.99 on Prime at the time, so I was like, you know what, no. But I might just watch that one of these days. So let's get into the video. And my top 10 is not this is not a top list going from top to zero or zero to top. This is all random, mixed, because I can't pick. Like, you know, there's some horror on here, there's some other stuff on here, that two different genres, you can't really pick which one is the best. So let's get started. Number 1 is American Psycho. So American Psycho was a masterpiece in my eyes because, wow, you just like really tap into the writer's mind and see how he thinks or she thinks, and it's beautiful. I don't know, I'm just type of person that when I'm watching something and you really get to tap in and see how someone really thinks about stuff. And the fact that the actor, he was brilliant. Like, you if I see him, I'm gonna run, because I'm gonna think he's actually a psycho. Because no matter how popular you are, there's just some movies that don't fit you, and this movie fit him to the T, and he did an amazing job. This movie is about a man who is obsessed with being successful and looking good and, you know, having wealth and everything in his grasp, and he doesn't. And he tries his best to hold on to everything and try to be perfect. He becomes psycho really and starts a killing spree. And that's ridiculous that it was, because you're killing people and no one's really like seeing this happen, or whatever the case may be. And then at the end you find out that he didn't really kill anyone, it was all in his head. But then again, what made it so good was, up to this day, I watched that movie like 20 times, up to this day I still don't know if he actually killed those people or it was in his head, because there's signs showing that he did kill and there's signs showing that he didn't. When his friend told him that, or whomever that person was, it wasn't his friend, said to him that he saw the guy that he killed a few months ago, he talked to him and they had a meal last week, and then everything just popped in his head, like what's been going on. I felt like it was a really good movie, and if that was in a book form, I don't know if it is, it probably is, that would be some interesting book to really read. Next one is Apocalypto. So if you don't know what this is, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that don't, because when I tell people my favorite movie is Apocalypto, they're like, what's that? I don't know if it's my favorite movie, but every time someone asks me, that's what I say. So it probably is. Apocalypto is just a movie about strength and not giving up. And it just, if you fear anything, if you fear being yourself around your partner, or getting that success that you want and it's not there, or quitting your job, or telling your boss off, or cutting your hair, anything, any fear, watch that movie and you won't feel fear any longer. Like, whatever happens, happens, and you just deal with it. Like, it was not even a movie that's in English. Like, you have to read down at the bottom, but you don't even have to read anything. It's just clear. So even though they're speaking some kind of different language, trust me, it didn't matter. It was like a setting where these Arawaks, or whatever they were, Indians or whatever, they lived in this village section, and then some people came and captured them. But before they captured them, they were trying to fight them off, and this guy, he put his wife and pregnant wife and child in a hole to protect them while he fought, but they lost. And while they were dragging them away, he realized that there was no way his wife could get out, and if the rain falls, they're gonna die. So this man, he did everything possible to get back to them. I am telling you, he did everything, and he eventually got back to them. But the movie is just unbelievably amazing. Like, if you've never watched that, wow, you really should. Like, whew, Next is Pride and Prejudice. So I'm not really a romance kind of girl, but when there's a good romance, then you just got to watch it. And Pride and Prejudice is kind of like a different settings, like the 1950s settings or whatever, I'm not sure. And wow, I have never felt a love, well, I have in other movies, but this one, it was different because I've never watched a love story where they didn't kiss, they didn't interact with each other in a sexual way, or hug. Well, I don't think they hug or whatever, but they dance, not that close grinding type of way, but like what they did in the 50s. And I don't know how I'm watching a movie where I've never seen the main characters kiss or anything, yet I could feel it, and I don't understand how they could portray. Oh my god, the writing is great, but the actors really sold it. I just don't know how they pulled it off. Like, it's like, wow. And there was just this one scene where I know he was itching to kiss her, and that's good acting right there. Wow, you should watch Pride and Prejudice. It's one of the best romance movies out there. 2008, because there's a lot of movies with that name, I think. So yes, and I don't think they could have found any other people to play them, because wow, they just did an amazing job. Next one is The Shawshank Redemption. So funny, I just watched this movie. It's so old. Like, I heard that it made Morgan Freeman's career, and yeah, they talked about that movie, but I've never even paid attention to it until like 5 months ago, where I was in bed and I was trying to find something to watch, and I was annoying my boyfriend, and he was like, I scrolled past Shawshank, and he was like, watch that again, because he knows I watch movies over and over. And I said, I've never watched this, and I don't even think I want to watch it. And he's like, what? You've never watched Shawshank Redemption? And he just played it and went to bed, and I was watching the shit, and oh my god. Like, that movie is about love and hope, and if you want to see that light at the end of the tunnel, you gotta push through no matter how hard things get. Like, there are so many men that go to prison, and it's hard enough going to prison when you're guilty, but imagine going to prison when you're innocent and having a life sentence when you're innocent is just too much to bear. I don't know how people do it. I would probably hang myself. Probably not. But, you know, it's like so hard to think about. And that's what this man was going through. And he made a friend in the prison. And no matter how everything seemed like it was never gonna work out, he always had hope and joy. And like, yes, I am gonna see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care what no one says or how things may seem. It was so beautiful how he just glazed through. You know, there were tough moments, but he really had that one set mind full of joy. And it kind of rubbed off on his friend too, because, you know, he always went you know, to those people to see if they would let him out or not, to see if he would be let out, and he always failed. And then that one time, last time when he went in, I think a piece of his friend was with him there when he said what he said, because he was like, you know what, it will be better for me. So no matter what I say here today, it will be better for me. And his friend did actually escape. He went through tunnels of shit and I don't know what else, and escaped and lived happy. And then when Morgan Freeman, I don't remember what his name was in the show, came out, he followed the trail that his friend got for him, and they met up in the end. And before he met his friend, there was this line where he said, "I hope the Pacific is as beautiful as it was in my dreams. I hope." And I felt that was just so beautiful. I mean, it might not sound beautiful now, but watching the movie, wow, like that movie is probably my favorite. I don't know. Like, trust me, once you want some hope and joy and feeling like even though everything is gone to shit, this 2020, it's gonna get better. And that movie was really beautiful, and I want to applaud the actors because they did a really good job. Because sometimes in a movie you can have great writing, great storyline, and the actors really don't sell it, or vice versa. So it was beautiful. Next one is A Walk to Remember. So this is my favorite romance movie of all time, and answer is not gonna change. I watched this when I was like in the 5th grade, when I didn't even know anything about love, and I didn't even like romance, but this made me, if I see a romance, I will definitely watch it just to see, because this was just love. And when I started watching it, I thought it was a typical high school movie, or you know, where the girl is not popular, they make fun of her, she and the guy fall in love, she get popular, blah blah blah. But at the same time, it was something completely different. And the girl, he wasn't doing well in school or whatever the case may be, and she offered to tutor him, but she told him not to fall in love with her. And you know, he laughed because he was like, you know, who's gonna fall in love with you? But he eventually did, and they started dating. Then things got sad because she realized that she had to be honest with him that she was sick and she was gonna die. And she said this words that really was really sad when she said, I don't need a reason to be angry with God, because she realized that she fell in love with him, and she was at peace with God's choice of, it's your time to die. And now it's like, it was such a beautiful, sad story. Oh my God, I didn't want to go more into the detail. You people should definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. It's the most beautiful love story ever to me. Sad, but at the end, everything got sad and then it just got happy again. So I really appreciated that. I loved it. Next one is The Man in the Moon. So this movie was so sad. It's, you know, it was a nice movie. Reese Witherspoon, I think that was her first, I don't know, I'm not sure, but that's where I know her from, her first thing. And I watched it, and I didn't think it was gonna end up how I expected it to end up. This movie is really about friendship, sisters coming together after going through something, you know. And I really love that, because there are people out here that your sisters and you'll never recover from such a thing, and they ended up getting back together at the end, being sisters like they were before. So the story really is about Reese. She's coming of age. She met this guy. He was, I think, 17 and she was 14. And apparently for him, that was too much of an age gap. But I don't know. But I guess at that time, you know, a 14-year-old may look young to a 17-year-old. So I guess I understand. And it was it took place in the olden days. So yeah. But, you know, he liked her. But he was fighting it because he felt she was too young. And, you know, things went on and eventually it felt like it was leading to something. And then I saw his face and his eyes. You read someone's eyes and you're like, you know what, let me try and see if this can work. But then he met her sister, and her sister is a beautiful 17-year-old, same age, everything. So he just immediately like fell in love or whatever, because he was moonstruck when he saw her. And he completely ignored the little sister. And that's men for you. But the sister, she knew that her sister liked him, yet she just went with it anyway. But I guess she fell in love at first sight too. You never really know what's happening there. And they started dating. They did stuff. And the sister was left alone. She felt hurt and disappointed, and I can't even explain how she was feeling. But then in the end, the boy died, and it was so sad. So sad. It was so sad. Like I don't even want to like cry on camera, but it was sad. And at the end, she cried. The young sister cried, but she was mad at her older sister. Older sister was going through a lot of pain. She had just lost her virginity to the guy and everything. And in the end, the younger sister was like, you know what? Whatever happened, happened. And she comforted her sister because she realized that she was in pain. Even though she was in pain as well, she realized that she probably was in pain a little more, her sister. And she comforted her, and they both, while her sister the bigger sister was combing her hair, they started talking, you know, about random stuff again, like they did in the beginning, as she watched the moon. And it that was such a beautiful movie, The Man in the Moon. People should really watch these stuff if you haven't seen it, but it's really old. Next is Shutters. So you people probably don't know about this. Well, you probably do, because it's really popular, but it's a Jamaican movie. And you know, in Jamaica there's stuff that we're proud of. So like, we have the fastest people in the world, we have great food, good music, the best parties or whatever. And in terms of movies, when you hear about Jamaican movies, this is the first thing that pops up in your head. And like, it's a really good movie. It starts out with two friends, you know, they live somewhere in Jamaica, I think Kingston, and then when they got older, they migrated to Miami, I think. They started dealing with drugs and, you know, the crime life. It's kind of like a gun crime type of movie, and it's kind of funny with some aspects of it too. And you know, they started doing that, started making money. At the end, there are some top shutters that felt like, no, they were stepping on the territory, and they were the big guns, and they were gonna take them out. Unfortunately, they went there and took them out except for one. And when he realized that his friend was dying, they have this whistle thing together that they whistle for signal or whatever. You know, some people have handshakes. They had a whistle. And while he was choking on his own blood, he was trying to whistle to his friend. Woo! He was trying to whistle to his friend. And wow. And then he just died in his arms. If you haven't watched that, it's a good movie. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry. You know, it's really good. You should really check it out. Shutters, and it's great acting. I am just so proud to be a Jamaican when I watch that movie. So people should watch it. The next one is The Notebook. So The Notebook, I thought I was gonna hate it. You know, I started watching it, and there was this old couple. It wasn't really a couple. Well, it didn't seem like it. He was reading a story to her. But wow, when you realize what he was doing, it was so moving, so beautiful. He was actually trying to pull back her memories because she had Alzheimer's, and he only thing he knew how to do was try to tell her the story that they had so she would remember that he was her husband. And that's what he was doing. So it went back in time where he was talking about them and their life and how beautiful it all was. And what made the movie so special too was not them in their prime years, but them old. That's what made it top notch for me, because you know, when you see two old people kiss or whatever, you're like, ew. But like, it was beautiful when they danced at the end and they died together holding each other's arms. How can you not cry for them? It was so beautiful. Oh my god, that movie, top notch, I'm telling you. The next thing is American Beauty. So I loved American Beauty. It was just so unique and different. Thriller girl. It was kind of depressing at sometimes, but hey, I kind of like those movies. And it was about this man, you know, he wasn't really happy in his marriage. No one was really happy there, really. And after he saw his daughter's friend, he fell in love or had some weird crush or obsession with her. And in the beginning he died, and the truth was unraveling of who actually killed him. And I felt like reason why I really loved this masterpiece was how it was written. Yes, sometimes you read a story and you're like, oh my god, who wrote this? What brilliant person wrote this? Like, if you haven't watched American Beauty, please go and watch it because it's bomb. And last on my list is Silence of the Lambs. Oh my god, this is my favorite movie of all time. Well, it's different, so I don't know, maybe not, but wow, when I watched it I was like, wow. And this is not a lie, after I watched it, I watched it over the same time. Like I said, finished back to back, I watched it over. I was so flipping amazed at how someone could write something like this, and how, I mean, nowadays you find the same shit, but that movie is so old, so it's so unique. It was just amazing. Like, that movie is top notch. If y'all haven't seen Silence, who hasn't seen Silence of the Lamb? Like, but if you haven't seen it, go and check that shit out. You're gonna be so amazed. You're gonna be mind blown. That shit should have won 50 million Oscars. Like, that movie just blew my brains out, and I appreciated it. And that is the list, guys. I'm so glad that tears didn't come out of these eyes when I was talking about some of this shit, because woo. Yeah, so I want to thank you all for listening. Comment down below, out of this list, which one you like the best. And I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next week.